What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the summer recess. So if you're new to my channel, each week until the remaining of summer, I'm going to be talking about a new concept. Last week I was talking about letting go. This week I'm going to be talking about becoming disciplined. So lately I've been thinking a lot about discipline and what it actually means to me, because I feel like discipline, it gets talked about as if it's just waking up early, going to the gym, eating healthy, or being productive every single day. But for me, it's far more deeper than that. It's about learning how to show up for myself, even when I'm tired, even when I'm overwhelmed, even when things don't exactly go as planned. And sometimes when you have so much going on, it's easy to lose structure. You start sleeping later, you stop being consistent with certain habits, you tell yourself you'll get back on track tomorrow, and then tomorrow becomes next week. So I've been asking myself, what would my life look like if I actually stayed consistent? What if I stopped waiting to feel motivated? What if I started doing the things I said I was going to do, even when I didn't feel like doing it? And I think that's where discipline actually comes in. Discipline is keeping promises to yourself. With this transition to Vermont, and now I'm entering a completely different chapter in my life, a new school, a new environment, a new routine, a new basketball opportunity, and honestly, a new version of me. Moving away and starting somewhere new is exciting, but it's also a reminder that nobody is going to be able to create my routine for me. I have to create it. Nobody is going to force me to stay disciplined. I have to hold myself accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable. And that's something I really want to take with me with this next chapter. And if you've been following my summer reset from the beginning, then you already know this isn't just about becoming a better version of yourself physically. It's been becoming better mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and just learning how to better take care of yourself. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I've been perfectly disciplined throughout this entire summer reset, because I haven't. There have been days where I didn't follow my routine. There have been days where I procrastinated. There have been days where I didn't feel motivated at all. And there have been moments where I've questioned whether I was actually making progress. But I think that's the point of a reset. It's not about becoming a completely different person overnight. It's about recognizing where you are, being honest with yourself. So we've talked about choosing peace. We've talked about slowing down. We talked about protecting your energy, finding that balance, letting go. And now we're talking about discipline. And when I look back at all those chapters, I realize they're all connected. You can't protect your peace if you don't have boundaries. You can't find balance if you don't know how to slow down. You can't move forward if you're holding on to the things that you need to let go of. And you can't become the person you want to become without learning to show up for yourself. I think the most important thing to understand about discipline is that it's not a matter of doing things one time, because anybody can have a good day. But what happens after that? What happens when you wake up the next morning and you don't feel motivated? What happens when you have a bad day? What happens when life gets so stressful? That's where discipline really starts to show, because motivation is temporary, as we know. We tell ourselves, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start Monday. I'm tired today, so I'm not going to do it today. And then eventually we look back and realize we've been waiting for the perfect moment to change. But there is no perfect moment. At some point you have to decide. And I think that's what discipline is. If you're watching this and you've been struggling with discipline, I want you to know that you're not alone. Maybe you've been telling yourself you're going to get back on track. Maybe you've been waiting to feel motivated. Maybe you feel like you've started over 100 times. I understand that. But maybe you don't need a fresh start. Maybe you just need to continue. Start with one promise, one thing you can do today, and keep doing it. Stop waiting for the perfect time to feel motivated. Keep the promises that you've made to yourself and become someone that you can depend on. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. And at the end of all my videos, I like to give a quote of the day. And the quote of the day is, discipline today builds the life that you want tomorrow. Stay blessed and remember to smile today.